Let's move on to honestly somebody that's trying to put themselves in the GOAT status and trying to do it at a young age, and that's Sydney McLaughlin running a 400-meter world record at the United States trials. And man, I was not expecting her to do this, and she came out of nowhere, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what she can do in Tokyo now.
Yeah, Sydney McLaughlin, like you mentioned, I think she ran 51.8, I think was her official time. Might have to get corrected on that, but just sort of blazing hurdle speed from 400 meters. I know that, I forget the name of her fellow U.S. Teammate, essentially, as a 400-meter hurdler herself. They have kind of gone back and forth over the past couple of years in different world races, reaching that record-breaking time, and then all of a sudden, she does this in the Olympic trials, Sydney does, and goes under 52 seconds, which is a huge mark. So, last week we talked about a sprinter and how she's going to be a great sort of character for the Olympics. The Olympics always needs athletes that, play or compete in these sports that we don't see as much of as the NBA players or the NHL players in the Winter Olympics. We only see them once every 4 years, really, unless you pay attention to some of the world championships and things like that. So when we see these types of records broken, everybody's now going to know who Sydney McLaughlin is, right? So when we go to the Olympics and you hear that it's the 400-meter hurdles, people are going to be like, I want to watch Sydney McLaughlin. She was the one who ran the sub 52-second 400-meter hurdles. I want to see if she can, beat that time or get another world record. What's she going to do for a USA in track and field in the Olympics? What's she going to do in Tokyo? We need these kinds of characters in track and field and some of the other sports to really draw the interest into the Olympics in Tokyo, especially, having a year off. The Olympics got delayed a year because of the pandemic. So we have to kind of the Olympics needs to get everybody's attention back on the Olympics again. Once it was kind of, postponed last season for 2020, I think it kind of just left the minds of everybody. And now we have some of these characters from the United States who have done some great things in the trials. This is going to help the USA over in Tokyo at the Olympics a great deal. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch her and several others who are doing a lot of these great things at the Olympic trials.
Yeah, man, I love Sydney McLaughlin. I've always been a huge fan of hers. I was watching her when she was running in high school, and even at that young age, she was already starting to put herself on the track and field world map and had, people trying to sponsor her like Nike, like Gatorade. And so that was in high school, and she was really one of the high school athletes of the year. I believe the Gatorade Player of the Year, track and field as well. And then she comes on to the world stage as a professional, and she just continues her dominance. She's one of the best track and field athletes out there, male or female, and she's still at a young, tender age, is still developing. And I think this is a big moment for her where she can just tell her critics to shut up, because not only is it, she's been a model too. She's extremely beautiful. So not only does she do track and field, she does some modeling as well. And she's taken some criticism for that in the past, that maybe she was focusing too much on being a model and not an athlete. And she said, hey, look, I can do both. I'm powerful enough to do both. I'm talented enough to do both. And I agree. She is, man. People just need to shut up. And this is a reason to say, hey, look, she is talented enough to do both. She can be a model on Wednesday, and then on Saturday, she can go and break the world record in the 400-meter hurdle. She's that talented overall. So I love seeing this. Like I said, I've always been a fan of hers. If I'm USA track and field, I'm making her my poster girl, putting her all over the map. And between her and Sha'Carri Richardson, they should be the ones with the American flag coming out in the opening ceremonies. You got Sha'Carri Richardson with all of her flair, and then you got the new world record holder strutting her stuff saying, hey, I'm about to come and collect a gold medal. So I think those should be the two that carry out the flag in the opening ceremony. But obviously I won't get what I want. I never do. But it's just really one of those things where those are the two that I would pick, honestly, along with Dame time, Dame Lillard. Put Dame Lillard on the flag ceremony too for USA men's basketball. But yeah, Sydney McLaughlin is an unbelievable young superstar on the track and field world. And honestly, she's been a role model for young women in the sport for a long time now. Like I said, since she's been coming out of high school, she's one of those athletes that says everything right, does everything right, is a great role model off the track, does everything right on the track, and then now goes out and wins and puts herself on the world map with a world record. So like I said, I've always been a big fan of Sydney McLaughlin. If you're new to watching her, just like if you're new to watching us on Comeback Sports, give us a subscribe here, give us a like. But hey, watch Sydney McLaughlin in the Summer Olympics because she's going to be another great chance for the United States to bring home a gold medal.
Oh, no question. No question. She's going to be – she just seems like she's ready to become an Olympic superstar, just by, obviously putting up this time. But you mentioned, her popularity is going to grow. And you mentioned Sha'Carri Richardson, who we talked about last week, and how, there's going to be more eyes on USA track and field during the Olympics because of this. We've been waiting for more than a year now for the Olympics to come back. And I think these types of scenarios, these types of stories, these types of characters are really going to draw eyeballs to the Olympics this year. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch when the Olympics get going later on. Olympics start in September, right? It's because it's in Tokyo. It's a little bit later this time around. I can't remember the exact date that the Olympics are going to get going, but it's later on in the summer at the earliest. But can't come soon enough after what happened last year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, folks, that's it for our 10 sports topics this week on Comeback Sports. Once again, I am Pat the Shot Caller Flaherty, and I was joined, as always, by my partner, Brandon the Coach Perry. Folks, both of our Twitter handles are at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you check those out. You also see that phone number at the bottom of the screen. That is the Comeback Sports hotline. You can call that in while the show's going on. If you want to call into our show and ask us a question, bring up another topic, comments on one of the topics we've already talked about, or if the show's not live, you can still call that number, leave a voicemail, and then we can play the voicemail back on the air the following week. So also feel free to do that as well. You can also tweet us a question. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about that we haven't talked about yet. Are there any sports topics we're missing? Let us know on social media. And also, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a subscribe and make sure you can take a look at that subscription page. You'll see all the different videos, all the different cut-ups that our fantastic producer, Ben Kudo, does every single week. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. That's going to do it for Comeback Sports this week, folks. We'll see you next time. Have a good week, everybody. Stay cool out there in New England.
Summer Olympics coming out late July, and Messi signed with the New England Revolution if you're smart.